This is the Mickey Miles and More podcast, your one-stop for information on Disney races, Disney vacations, Disney theme parks, and more. Now, here are your hosts for the Mickey Miles and More podcast, Michelle Scribner-McLean, Chris Eliopoulos, and Mike Scopa.
Welcome home, Milers, and welcome back to another episode of Mickey Miles and More, a podcast where three friends talk about their passion for the Disney parks. I'm Chris Eliopoulos, and with me, as always, is the laughable Dr. Michelle Scribner-McLean.
What's your name again?
Don't even start. I got to do 3 takes of this for anybody playing at home, and Michelle was laughing so hard, she made me laugh and mess up the second one, so this is all on her tonight.
Well, I'm glad that you Zoomed me tonight because I've been very busy reading my new book here.
Ooh.
I don't let just anybody disturb me, but my new book is wonderful. I waited for it for a long time, and it is awesome. It is the new I Am Oprah book.
Oot.
Chris, very nice job. Very, very nice job.
I heard the writing is good. The illustrations need a little work, but
it's excellent. Really, really excellent.
I appreciate it.
Very nice.
Thanks. Also with us tonight is the man himself, Mike Scopa.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
I know
to the
that right.
Haunted Podcast.
Oh, darn, I thought you were going to give us another guess where this was from.
You should tell everybody what you've been doing Haunted Mansion wise with your spare time.
Oh, so there was I'm really into jigsaw puzzles, and there was a box of jigsaw puzzles that was, I don't know where I saw it, in the World of Disney or somewhere. And I picked it up, and it was 4 puzzles, and each puzzle is 500 pieces, and each puzzle is a picture of one of those portraits in the stretching room in the Haunted Mansion. And there are 4 of them, and they are very difficult because many of the pieces are identical. And unless you really, really see if they're really fitting well, and if the color and the shading is right, you probably will spend 3 times what you should be spending on building those puzzles.
It's
but I've
nice
finished number 4 today.
To study them in more detail because you only see them for a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll be, next time I get a chance to go to the Haunted Mansion, I'll be looking at those portraits with a different set of eyes.
Interesting. Speaking of different, did you guys catch the new Lightyear teaser trailer?
Chris Evans, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Chris Evans is the voice of Buzz Lightyear.
Tim, what's his face?
No, this is the origin story, so it's a young Buzz Lightyear. You saw the trailer, right?
Yes, I did.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I actually saw it before you sent me the thing about it.
It's in June.
Yeah. The whole premise behind it is when Buzz was first created, the idea was that it was an action figure based on the movie or some big
TV show or something.
Something like that. And so this is supposed to be that show that it's based on. So, which is kind of cool.
The director is called Mac Lane too, Angus Mac Lane.
There you go.
So.
But it's nice to see, I feel like we're like in such a glut of sequels and sort of rehashes of other things. This seems like totally unique and different, even though it's based on a character we know. I think it's a pretty fun looking thing.
I was saying to Mike that my son Evan, who's just shy of 28, was a big Buzz Lightyear kid and loved Buzz Lightyear, but now there's a whole new generation of kids who probably know Toy Story, but this pulls in a whole new group of kids to love Buzz Lightyear and to reintroduce them to Toy Story.
Could this be the first Pixar prequel?
No.
Monsters
University,
good.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if there's any others, but
rich man.
Because if you think about it too, like Indiana Jones and the God, I was about to say Crystal Skull. The Temple of Doom is supposed to be a prequel to Raiders, so that was supposed to have taken place before the Raiders movie.
I never knew that, and I just told you what my favorite movie was, Indiana Jones. Wow.
A little trivia for the day.
Interesting. What?
That's a jigsaw puzzle in your future.
Yeah. Thank you.
So let's get on to a little bit of race news, Mike. Wine and Dine race weekend is coming up in just about a week or so. What can you tell me? What's sold out?
Well, I think since the last time, Chris, looks like both the. Oh, hello. Since the last we spoke about it, Chris, the 10K is now sold out. So the 5K and the 10K is sold out.
Mhm.
Still not seeing any kind of information on spectator guidelines, and they keep saying, stay tuned, and it's getting close. So I would wonder what people are thinking about who are going down to support their runners. If I was going to go down there and root someone on, I'd like to know what limitations, what parameters are being set. So it's getting close. We're down to about a week next weekend. It's a week. From this weekend. So we'll see what happens. The news that did come out was that they're now selling the post-race party after the half marathon, and that's $89, and it gets people into Epcot at 5:00, and I believe it starts at 9:30. It goes from 9:30 to 12:30, and
So that's for guests who are not running, who are
Guests
meeting their runners.
we're not running all the races. Unlike years ago, they changed it to all the races now start at 5 a.m., which is I think that's an hour earlier than we used to see. So it's 5 a.m., which is interesting. I wonder what that.
So what time do you have to get up? Like before the day before?
Well, if the races are starting at
close
5,
the night before.
when do you start leaving the gathering area for the corrals? Around 4?
Yeah, I was gonna say they used to have a thing when it was 6:00. You had to be on the bus by 3:00.
By
It was
3.
like, they were like, you have to be out by like if you're not. They said if you're not on the buses by 3, you're not guaranteed to be in the corral in time. That wasn't always the case. I think they were just trying to get as many people pushed through as possible.
Yeah.
And then it moved to 5:30 in the past few years. And then I felt like they were a little bit more lenient. I think they even said like 3:30 you could go by, which I found interesting that like they sort of moved it opposite directions. But at this point, what, are we leaving at like midnight?
Yeah, you're leaving. You're going to pass yourself on the way in. So this means you run in the morning and then you have the whole day. And then do runners still have to pay that $89, or does your bib get you in?
No.
Because what it used to be is you ran at night and then at the end you got your stuff and you met your family and friends.
I think you get some type of a voucher
Okay.
that allows you in, and well, you wear your medal. That doesn't get you in,
Yeah, but is that included? Is that post-race thing included? Because I mean, I actually do.
Talk among yourselves.
Yes, I do say that was an enjoyable event, even though it was late, to be able to walk around with your family and.
That was during the day, right? I mean, the nighttime ones were a blast. Like the one I went to, we were so excited. We did that race. And that party afterward, where you got to, it was wine, like, so they had all the kiosks open. They had special foods and beverages that you could try. And it was like amazing. And we were like, we're going to do this every year. And then they stopped doing it at night.
Yeah. Well, I was there the last time they did it at night. I think you were too. There was a thunderstorm and they changed it to a 7-mile race.
Right. I wasn't there. I remember you telling, I remember you guys even, I think, texting me from the course, like, we're like huddled somewhere and they might call it. And
Yep. And so then Eli goes, it's on, it's off. And we were so excited that it was on, but then it was only 7 miles, which I thought was awesome. But there were several people, of course, who really wanted to run a half marathon.
Well, some people were, if that was their goal, like they had a personal goal to do a half marathon and then to train all the way up and then not get to it.
Right.
Awful.
Right.
But I hear you.
I think Mike's back.
Well, all I can see is that it says that the half marathon registration includes the post party ticket, but I don't know if it's just for half marathon people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's That's the other thing.
Yeah, because if you're on the 5K, you get to go into the. It's a good question.
All I know is I remember the wine and dine we went to that time.
Marathon or challenge registration.
Half marathon or challenge. Okay.
We were at the Porta Johns before the race, and there was a woman that was racing that was inebriated. Like, it was sloppy drunk. Like, she was like all over herself, and we were laughing. Like she's not going to make this through. She's not going to make it through. And we got to the party afterward, and she was having a blast. So she finished the race, got out there, and she was drinking at the park. I was like, okay,
Wow.
man, somebody has real
Her
stamina.
poor liver, I'll tell you.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
So, but I will say, Mike, it does concern me that we still haven't heard about safety protocols
Right.
for either runners or people who are standing by and watching, and family members. And
Well, like if you're planning the trip, you might want to bring a certain mask. You might want to bring, I don't know. It just seems like people are going to be starting to head into town soon. They need to know, what are they going to be wearing in the corrals and stuff like that.
Yeah, because, COVID is still out there. It's still out there, and I think everybody needs to be aware of it. You don't want to let your guard down, and especially in large gatherings like this and people breathing heavily, and you're in a corral, we've seen how it is with the crowds at the end of the races and the finish lines. People are just climbing all over everyone to see their runners. So I really am concerned, and the same holds for marathon weekend. We really don't see anything. We keep seeing, quote, the spectator experience continues to be evaluated. Come on, Run Disney, what do you need? What is this? Rocket science? We've been dealing with this for 18, 20 months.
But not just the spectators, should be the runner experience.
Both runners and spectators. So I don't know why they're dragging their feet. I think it's...
well, they don't have any time left for wine and dine. I mean, it's literally, people are going to be flying out in like 5 days from now. But I think what you mentioned, Chris, on one of our shows, that maybe wine and dine is going to be the trial period, and they're gonna it's gonna be the guinea pig, and they'll see what happens there, and then they'll adjust. They have 2 months to adjust. So we'll see what happens. That's not like a smart safety. I mean, for the company that always says, guest, security, safety first. This is a security issue. This is a safety issue. I mean, this is, it's tough. I would like to know, my friend is running, and he is like, again, he's all boosted up. Like, I got my booster shot. Michelle got hers. He got his. There's a very good chance that, even if we do get it, it won't be, horrible for us. But, he's still nervous about it. He's got a parent who's got medical issues that, if he wants to see him, he has got to be careful. And he's like, I'm planning to go down there. I'm not even going to go into any of the parks. Like, he's that paranoid about it. And he's like, what's going on? I need to know what's going to happen before the race. What's going to happen after the race? Like who's around me? What's the protocol? Is there going to be a vaccine mandate? Is there going to be at least testing going on? Like, would they have tests available at the parks before you go in, or for the race thing? It would be nice to know all this stuff, but with a week left, nobody can really plan.
Yes, they'll have it. It's on the Disney COVID Plus app.
You have to pay $15 extra for it,
That's right.
and you get a free test.
Yep.
But you have to pay a la carte, like one for a rapid test, and then what is it? What's the other type of test? What's it called? PCR test?
Yes.
Is that what it's called? I don't
Yep.
remember. I was trying to pick letters out of a hat. I don't know.
VCR. It's a VCR.
The VCR test. Got it. Speaking of the marathon weekend, Mike, I haven't checked lately. What's the sale? Is everybody signed up?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people have signed up. I think right now it looks like, with the exception of the half marathon, which I thought would have been the one that would be the most popular. All the races and the combinations, the goofy, the dopey, they're all sold out except the half marathon, which is interesting. And I don't know why. But that's the only difference over the last week that I know of. And just like Wine and Dine, we really don't have any other information about what's going on for spectators or runners, protocols, guidelines, volunteers. Michelle, you and I both know what and we've said this before. There are people who volunteer who say, I don't want to do this because I don't want to touch anybody who's sweaty. That was in the non-COVID days. So what about now?
Yeah.
So,
speaking of races, I just want to, and training for the races, I just want to give a big shout out to little Dr. Michelle Scribner McLean for her PR for her half marathon this past week. Well done.
Thank you. Yes, the Bay State Half Marathon with MEI travel agent Steve Cantafio, who drove all the way up to join me in Nashua. Cantafio, yes. And it was great. Although I put him in the wrong corral, we made our way to the right corral, and it was a great race. So I had a 2-minute PR.
Nice.
So who knew that middle-aged lady could do it? But it was fun. It was good.
Awesome.
And then I thought, I'm going to have to do 13.1 more of these again. Yeah, I remember now.
Am I the only one that does that? Like, no matter what I'm running in my training, I just go, oh my God, when I finish, I go, I still have 7 more miles to go after this if on that day. Like, I'm such a negative guy. That's what I always do, is I always think about how many more. Like, when I finished 13 the first time this training period, I was like, I have to do a whole nother one of those. Could I ever do that right now? No.
I know. Well, you at least run with somebody. I don't really run with
anybody.
No,
we don't run together anymore.
Oh.
We run different times and different, like I said, I started going on this, like, when I hurt my knee, so she started going on her own. So we sort of are on, we should get back to it and start running together again. But she likes to savor the moment. I just want to get it done.
Yeah,
so I want to get out first thing in the morning, and she's just like, oh, I'm going to do the laundry, and I'm going to sweep up, and I'm going to clean the house. I'm going to do something, and then I'll do that. And then eventually I go out because I want to enjoy the time. And I'm just like, I just want it to be done so the rest of the day.
You do anything to avoid cleaning up the house.
Hey, the things I do?
Well, I would like to say, because I've been having this conversation with my friend Brad Garfinkel, who is a Mickey Myler and a Team All Ears person. And he and I are Apple crazy people. Mm-hmm. And I got the new Apple Watch just before I ran this race, like 2 days before I ran the race. And I was trying to convince Brad to give up his Garmin. Ooh. Because honestly, I would hit a mile marker in this race, and within 10 seconds, my watch would go bing. You hit another mile. The accuracy has improved so much during the years it obviously lasted for the whole race. Plus it's bigger, and I'm, like half blind. The watch is bigger, so it made a big difference. But for people thinking, I need to have the Garmin, you absolutely don't. The Apple Watch is great and very, very accurate. So I was really, really impressed. I was very distracted by the whole thing because I'd hit 7 miles and my watch would say, you hit 7 miles. I'm like, wow, this is great. So.
Distraction is a good thing. I got it. I should send it to you. I forgot to send it. There was an article in the New York Times about running, and they said the quicker you get out of your head and thinking about your body and running, and the better you do running. Like, I always have this thing where I'm concentrating on my stride and what I'm doing for like the first 5 miles, and then I just kind of, for some reason, 5 miles it clicks and I start to go off and think about it. And the running goes so much smoother after that. So I'll have to send you that article. It's it's very interesting.
For me, it's like between 2 and 3. I struggle, and then when I hit between 2 and 3, I'm like, all right, I can. It's more like walking. It's okay. I can do this.
Yeah, you don't even pay attention to your body anymore. You just kind of keep going. But one last thing about Marathon Weekend before we move on, which is the news today that Expedition Everest will be down for 3 months starting January 4th. For all those marathoners who love to stop and take a ride on Expedition Everest, that will not be a thing you'll be able to do this year. So sorry to say. I think, Michelle, you did that once, right?
I did. It was awesome. I actually did not turn off my Garmin for that. So it was interesting.
You got mileage for that?
Looking at those data, how fast I went for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
That's all right. I don't know that I would do that now. I mean, I don't know. I did it once. I
Yeah,
don't
it was a
need to
fun
do it
thing to
again.
do. It was
I
a
just
very
wanna, I just want to get done.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Get the cool medal. Let's move
'Cause
on.
that's at the 13-mile mark, right?
No, it's like 16 or 17 miles.
Yeah.
If
Okay,
memory serves
16.
me. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
At the
because
front
it's
of the Animal Kingdom.
Well, it's not the front of Animal Kingdom. It's kind of, yeah.
off the side. Yeah,
Would you
but-
say, Chris?
No, I was just
16,
yeah, I was gonna
15
say
miles?
I'm trying to remember. I think 16, 17 is out on the highway, so it might be like 15.
15,
Yeah, you're
14.
right. Yeah, 15. You're right, because
So-
you go past the McDonald's at 16
Right.
on that
So-
bridge. Yep.
Well, the other big thing that happened in the last week or so is that Disney has launched the Genie Plus system, which is a part of the Disney Plus app, or the Disney My Experience app. And Mike, I think we've talked about it in generalities before, right? So I mean, we sort of know that it's a $15 per person fee for the Genie Plus system, which gets you on 40 rides and attractions throughout the 4 parks. And then there's a la carte system for the high volume rides, the high, desired rides. And those are individual prices depending on what they think it's worth. I haven't heard a lot of good things. I've been trying to watch and listen and read people's experiences with it. I saw one guy went with a friend, and they went, and one decided that it was like they went, I forget what time of the day, but they went in, one got Genie Plus, one went on without. The one guy who went with Genie Plus got on 5 attractions. The guy without went on 7, which was interesting. Like, it was like,
So-
that's the opposite of what it should have been.
The guy without it just went into the standby line.
He did.
Well,
Now-
yeah.
It's
I'm
different
sorry.
because I don't know which attractions they went on, and it could have been low capacity ones. I think they went early. I think they went in at rope drop. They weren't hotel guests, so they had to wait like a half hour or whatever it was, and then they went in. I've heard people just not very happy with it, but there's also the free segment, which is sort of like a day planner, right, Mike?
Yeah, Genie and Genie Plus is something that I think a lot of us need to get used to, and I think it won't be something that we are comfortable with until we're spending about a week at Walt Disney World trying to figure out how it works. I have read many accounts of how best to use it, and I think when you mentioned that the person who had Genie Plus did not ride as many as the person who didn't have it, I think that talks to the way that Genie Plus is arranged. So, for instance, you cannot secure another Genie Plus attraction until you have tapped into the first one. And in some cases, it seems like it's every 2 hours. You're limited to every 2 hours of the day, starting at 7
like
o'clock.
the way Fast Pass used to
Yeah,
be?
like those old
Something like
paper,
that, yeah.
paper
It's-
fast passes.
It's really complicated, and there's probably some tweaking that's going to come about. But the thing is that it's $15 per ticket per day, and it's not something that you can buy for a week. It's a daily thing, and I think for most people, they will probably try it the first day and see if it works, and then after that they'll make up their mind. But as you mentioned, Chris, there are 8 attractions throughout Walt Disney World. Well, it's soon going to be 7 because Everest is gone. That will require an additional purchase because they're special attractions, and those are 7 Dwarfs, Space Mountain from Magic Kingdom, Frozen Ever After, the Remy Ride in Epcot, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railways, and Rise of the Resistance. And in Animal Kingdom, it's now just going to be Flight of Passage. So, and those are going to be the ones where you pay a little bit extra.
So not Rock and Roller Coaster.
Rock and Roller
Tower
Coaster.
Terror.
No, Tower Terror is not. They're part of Genie
Splash
Plus.
Mountain.
I mean, you can get into, but they're not one where you can get to the front of the line or whatever that is. So,
The
Really, yeah.
But there's a lot of questions that go into this, like what ifs that I guess hit everybody. So it's like, what if the ride breaks down, or, you know, what happens?
And you've already paid.
Yeah, or I don't, there's a lot of like what ifs that I can't even think of right now, because it's like until you get to use it, it's sort of like But like what, like I know they had the rise of resistance break down at one point, and like people were told to come back later. You could come back anytime during the day. So what does that do then? Does it like stack? So the ride's down for 3 hours. So you've got what could be a 3-hour window where all those people that were on could now just jump on with the other people that are in that 4th hour who have got it. So now is the fast pass line or the lightning lane line like 4 times as long as the standby?
I have no idea how that is being handled. I do know that if you do get a refund, let me see. If a ride doesn't, let's say you have purchased something for Rise of the Resistance and it closes down and it doesn't open for the rest of the day, I believe you would get a refund for that particular purchase. I don't know how this, there was some talk about people complaining to guest relations for a refund on certain things. And I think that there's still some type of tweaking going on with that. I mean, it can get really muddy. And I think that this is one of those areas, Chris, where whoever thought of this probably did not think of all the possibilities that would happen, especially when you're dealing with the most complicated attractions with the most moving parts, like Rise of the Resistance, that's going to break down. And I don't know how they're going to do their refunds. And
you don't think that the people designing this would look at the data about how often a certain attraction breaks down and build that into?
I don't give them any credit for that. No, I think they believe everything's, sunny, and Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, and they think everything is, it's always sunny in Philadelphia or whatever.
Wow, there were some references there that went flying all over the place.
Yeah. Rebecca, Sunnybrook Farm, and it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
There are people who
Philadelphia cream cheese. What's next?
There are people who design systems and program. There are people who design systems and programs who never think of contingencies, who never think of what ifs. I think that, maybe superficially they do.
What does that mean? Superficially?
That means that if they don't have anything up front saying if this happens, blah, 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 that's one thing. But as Chris mentioned, the first day, October 19th, when Disney Plus was starting to be used, there were problems.
Genie Plus. Mm-hmm.
Genie Plus, what did I say?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Yeah, right. So, and then there were people who were complaining and there was nothing written anywhere. So then Disney comes out with a spokesperson who said guests would automatically receive a refund for individual lightning lane selections if a ride does not open for the rest of the day after a closure. Where was that in the app? Where was that on My Disney Experience? That's what I'm saying.
So do you think, if you take an Uber and you're in Boston and it's raining and it's rush hour, there's like surge pricing is what they call it. The kids call it. So the price to take an Uber would be more expensive. Are you thinking that it's going to be like a surge pricing type of thing where if there's a time that Ratatouille is they think it's going to be a lot busier, then they'll surge price the costs up?
Yep. And they've already started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They raised the prices. So Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, that increased to $10. It was $8. Now it's $10.
But is that all the time or is that some of the time?
Well, it's increased now. And I don't know.
No, but I'm saying surge pricing, it goes up and down based on
demand and based on time of the year.
There's a higher demand, the price goes up. If there's a lower demand, the price goes down.
Yeah, and I guess there are certain attractions like Flight of Passage that went from $11 to $14. Remy, of course, is brand new, so that went from $9 to $11.
But I guess that doesn't answer my question. Is it always that, or does it go up and down based on?
I think it's up and down. So
okay.
I think it's.
Well, we'll see. Here's what I think they're doing. I think it's just like anything else. They're trying to cut down on these lines, and so they're selling out so quickly. So they're going, oh, if they're selling at It's, supply and demand. They're selling it at $9. Let's charge $11 and see how many more people. And if they keep doing it, the prices are going to go up if people keep going. And that's why I say nobody can complain about this because they're all paying for it. Like everybody's going on. So I think they're going to keep upping the price until it pushes back on them. I think once they start to see people not buying and then like not selling out each day, they're going to say, okay, we hit our limit. That's the line. But again, like you're saying, it could also be seasonal. They could change prices for like, not that there's many slow times of the year anymore. But
they already have that model with the hotels, right? With the resorts.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, the busy season, there are like 7 different seasons or something like that. And the room rates go up, the rack rates go up and down. So would you think that the attraction rates would sort of go in sync with
if there's fewer people going to the parks, they're going to lower it, I think, just to get more people onto the rides maybe and to pay for it because they want to make that money. Like they're trying to find that sweet spot where they sell out but don't oversell or unable to sell enough. Like they want to get as many people as they can to buy this thing. And obviously the more money they make per, the fewer people they can have on the ride, which is a benefit to them.
Years ago, I remember sitting out front of the Winnie the Pooh ride in Fantasyland, and that's when you could go on either side, the left side or the right side. And I remember saying, okay, there's a person with a pair of red shorts on the left. There's a person with a pair of yellow shorts. They're both going in and see who comes out faster. And we always used to say, always go to the line to the left, go to the line to the left. And I'm wondering, that would have to be the only way you could figure out if these lightning lane guests, are really getting into the attraction before the people in the standby line. Like you said, Chris, if more people are going to be using the lightning lane, then the standby line is probably going to be, just as good. Mm-hmm. And the only way to do that is to sit back and outside of an attraction and look, because they do not have the wait. They don't have the numbers, the time on the lightning lane, but they just have it for the standby queue. But I've heard from one friend, and she said that the standby lines were a lot less than she had expected when people were using the Genie Plus. So, this is all kind of really new territory, and it will be really interesting to see what happens, especially during the Christmas season.
So you were saying there's 7 attractions that do this?
There are 8, but Everest is going to be down, so it's only 7 now.
All right. So if the highest is 14, it's 14 times 7 is 98. I was just sort of thinking about the cost of the VIP or whatever they call it at Universal. It's still cheaper than Universal per person. You'd have to buy if you were going to do the whatever they call it. I can't remember. I was just there this summer. I don't remember, but it's a lot more expensive than that per person. If you were going to do like a family of 4, would have to pay $400 extra at Universal.
But isn't Universal every attraction?
No.
Oh, I thought it was every attraction.
No, it's not every attraction. It's a lot of the attractions, but it's not every attraction.
And it's actually 98 plus 15.
Yes, 98 plus 15. It's still cheaper, I think.
Well, plus, they also have a thing where you don't have to like schedule when you're going on those attractions.
That's right.
You can literally walk into all of them. Whereas Disney tries to stagger them out with this old style fast pass system. But Michelle, I wouldn't put it past them of doing those surge pricing, like you said, like first thing in the morning when everybody wants to get in, you price it up, and then at 8:00 at night when they're like, when I got on Rise of the Resistance that time and there were 2 other people, who's going to pay an extra $15 to go on with 2 other people? It's like, I could have just walked on this one. So there's got to be some sort of finagling. I think obviously, like you said, they look at the data. I think there's an in between. Like Mike's right in that IT people always go, this will be the simple thing. This is the way it's got to go. And they never factor in the human factor. Like I've known that in my world, like they always kind of go, yeah, but there's going to be real people who are dealing with this, and weird things happen when people get involved. But yeah, so I don't know. And then there's the other half, which is they've probably done the data and thought about it, but who knows?
And I don't know if they tested this, but one of the interesting side issues that has come out of this is that there have been reports, people have said that they use their phones more now. Well, if they're using Genie Plus, they're using their phone more than they normally would. And I'm not sure what's going on, but people were saying that their phone battery is running down faster now than it had before Genie Plus. One person said that after 4 hours, his phone dropped 60% of the battery, or maybe 40% of the battery. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but we don't know that person's phone. It could be a 6-year-old phone, you know.
Well, I think that he even mentioned. I think it was an
N of one.
I think it was an iPhone 12. It was an iPhone 12.
About this.
I can get you the. I'll get the data for you, but it's funny because in addition to this, there are indications that Disney is installing, I forget the name of those charging places that they have throughout the park where you get lightning, they charge rods or whatever, you buy them. They're installing more of those all around the park. And it made me wonder, it's like, did they know that this would really sap the battery on the phones, and thus maybe they would sell more of these battery charger rods and they would make more money that way? So I don't know.
Like, I'm thinking, I'm looking at my watch right now, and I know that I have my annual pass in my Apple Wallet, right? But there's no Disney Plus app. So
Genie Plus?
Or Genie, there's no Disney.
Everybody keeps calling it Disney Plus.
Yeah, there's no Disney app. So I guess I'm wondering, like, am I just using my wallet? Is it connected to my wallet for my annual pass, and it's all going to be on there? I guess that would be the way it would be, right?
That's what I would think. Yes.
That was the other thing, right? Like, so when we had gone, I thought you could use your watch to open up your room doors and stuff, and they're like, oh no, it's just for park pass admission. So maybe but they said they were working on it. At some point you'd be able to do that, so who knows if that's part of it. I mean, I haven't heard yet. Hopefully soon.
Well, all these resources,
but aren't they going to have the new Magic Bands? Why would they want to make it watch friendly? Who
knows?
But I have no idea what goes on behind closed doors.
Wow.
We can only guess what's going on. All right. So on that note, let's talk about one other thing this time around, which is the upcoming Very Merriest After Hours party. Mike, I don't know what this is anymore. Can you tell me?
It's supposed to replace the Very Merry Christmas Party, and it's a 4-hour event. The prices long ago in another life, I remember talking about a $69 or $79 cookie, and now I think you can buy a whole bakery, because the prices range from $169 starting in late November to as high as $249 in December. And I'm not sure if that includes taxes. If it doesn't include taxes, that $249 is actually probably close to $265 around there. So a family of 4 would be paying close to $1,100 for a 4-hour event. The party is involving different areas within the Magic Kingdom that are going to have special little mini parties. So, for instance, if you go to New Orleans Square, you're going to have Princess Tiana with doing some kind of a Bayou-inspired celebration. In Frontierland, you're going to have Miguel from Disney's and Pixar films Coco. He's going to be there doing his Feliz Navidad thing. There will be other parties like Fantasyland. There'll be Buzz Lightyear. There'll be Lilo and Stitch in Adventureland. There'll be Elsa in Fantasyland. It's going to be a little bit different than Mickey's Very Merry. Who knows if it'll be worth it? There will be a stage show in front of the castle. Of course, you'll have the Christmas parade. You'll have maybe some hot chocolate and some cookies, and you'll have fireworks. So remains to be seen. It'll be interesting to hear the reviews. There really hasn't been much buzz about the Halloween party at Mickey's at Magic Kingdom, and I'm wondering if the lack of reviews is telling. Michelle?
Well, getting back to the Christmas party? Are there going to be the tin soldiers, you think?
In the parade, possibly. I can't see them not having them.
Gosh, that would break my heart. What about the dancing reindeer?
I don't know. We'll see.
They have to have the dancing reindeer. I'm sorry. I would.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
pay,
Santa will
I'd
be
pay
there.
$169 just to see those.
Really?
Those
169
tin
plus tax, so
soldiers.
probably.
I don't know.
Well,
Well,
that's
it'd be
the
like
thing.
180.
Yeah, I know, Chris. I know you're gonna say,
Well,
people pay it. I
well,
guess
that's what I'm saying.
I'm
Like,
one of those people.
nobody can complain. Like Mike was
Yeah.
complaining about the Halloween thing, and next thing you know, I got this sheepish text message. I bought it. I'm going. So
And then I turned it, and then I canceled it.
well, because you were
That was 'cause
leaving,
of
because you were
COVID.
you were just saying I'm out. But I think that's with all of this stuff, like with the Genie Plus pricing, the individual pricing. They're gonna do it as long as they can sustain it, and people are complaining and then doing it. So I don't fault them for trying to get whatever they can get. The one thing I noticed that in the description of this thing, which is something we didn't touch on in the app, the Genie app, was that they will have enhanced themed photo backdrops
Yeah.
for your character site. So I think they were like on the regular app, you can take pictures with like an AR thing. You can have like, I think I saw somebody take a picture of themselves in front of the castle, which was turned into that cake from
The cake
the 25th.
castle, yeah.
So I think that's another free part of that Genie app. And I guess part of this party is that, you get special themed
But
photo
don't you
backdrops.
guys think, like, at least for us, the three of us, and many people listening, we go to the park so often that anything that makes it a little bit different or is a little, adding another layer of zazz onto our experience is something that we're worth paying. We want to pay for. It's worth paying for.
Yeah. I mean, well, look, there's both sides to this story. Some of it is like you've gone too often when you're bored by the standard fare.
Yeah.
And then the other half
I'm
is
not bored by it, but it's just like
right. And the other half is like, I go so often, I don't need to do the bells and whistles. And, like, I think if I were going for the first time in like 3 or 4 years, I'd be more likely to do this event. Because I remember when we were first doing it with the kids, and we didn't know what it was really, but we knew it was a hard ticket event and you could go on attractions, and the kids were younger, and we thought, okay, we're going to get them to nap during the day. We'll have, it was guaranteed to have lesser people, not lesser people, because it sounds like fewer people. Sorry, I know I always get that wrong. Fewer people in there. No, I meant the people were such bad quality. They were lesser than us. That we would get through a bunch of the rides, and it would sort of save a full day at the parks. And of course, the kids didn't sleep during the day, and then the parade finally came around, and they were sleeping. And I still have footage of the Little Green Men band coming by and playing, and the drummer seeing the boys sleeping in their stroller, walking up right in front of them with the drum and slamming it like crazy, and the kids didn't even move. They were so out. So after that, I was like, well, that was a real waste of money. Like, they didn't get to enjoy the parade. They didn't see Santa go by. They didn't even want to eat the cookie. They didn't have any hot chocolate, like, what we were doing. But, now would they go? No.
Okay, Chris. It's okay. You had fun.
Look, we had a ball.
You saw the Little Green Man. You saw Santa.
It was a fun experience for us, and something that we'll treasure forever is that video of our kids asleep with a drum in their face. But it's I think, I don't know, for me, I'm sort of like, I'm tapped out. Like, I feel like sometimes it's just gotten to the point where the pricing is just getting too out of hand. Like, and look, I'm doing fine. It's not even like, can I afford it? Which for a lot of people it is. It's about, can you afford it? And I think, you're sort of leaving these people having a less good time. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to go to this thing, but can't justify spending what would be their 2 weeks salary on a 4-hour party. So I just don't like the idea of everything having a dollar sign on it now. I mean,
Right.
And again, Disney's always had the reputation, right? It's always expensive, and you always have to wait on lines. Maybe they're just like leaning into that now. Like, yeah, let's really make it expensive and let's really make the lines long. I don't know. So, but I see both sides. I mean, I definitely see how some people want to get on and go see this special event. So I don't fault anybody for going.
But Chris, marching 10 men.
Dancing reindeer.
Dancing reindeer. Yes.
I know, but I live 40 minutes out of New York City. I can go to the Thanksgiving Day parade and get it for free.
This year.
Not this year, but you know what I'm saying. In normal times. So I don't know, Mike. Would you pay for it for Dancing Reindeer? Mike, would you go?
I don't know if I'd pay for Dancing Reindeer. I might pay for the soldiers.
Now, I just wanted to make it a point here. We're not going down when this is still there, but if you were going down, would you do it? Michelle's a definite yes. Definitely yes.
I'm a definite yes that Mike would do it.
Oh, because you're making him go.
No, he would do it without me.
I know.
He would say, "Oh, yes, we got tickets to today."
When it gets past a certain price threshold, I really, really want to hear reviews and the take from people. I don't want to, no.
Yeah, I'm not buying what you're selling. Sorry, Mike. You play a good game, but it's just I think you love it way too much, and
I think I'm curious.
And guess what? There's a dessert party. We're gonna add on to it.
I think. Oh God, that would make it a $300.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you would pay it.
But that's not a problem. If you if you love it and want to,
it's fine.
There's nothing wrong.
You're just gonna have to give up your drugs and loose women.
Oh.
Well.
Or at least the drugs. The loose women you keep around.
Rob Peter to pay Paul.
But hey, look, I think that's what the thing though is like we can't really complain about it. Yeah. If you're gonna pay for it, then. I mean, I guess you can complain. Maybe part of the admission is to complain about the price.
So here's the way I think about it now. COVID life is short. So
yeah. I mean, that's the other interesting thing too. Again, with all of this going on, and
my volunteer work, I see life is very short. So if I want to see my damn dancing reindeer, I'm gonna go see him. So
I know. I am not at all. Like I said, if you want to pay the money and go, then more power to you. I don't fault anybody for going. I think it's just in my world, it's sort of for 4 hours. Like for 4 hours, you get to walk around in the park for a little bit and get a few little extras on top of it. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it for me, but I'm sure for a lot of people it is.
I have a bigger problem with them charging on Disney Plus and not paying Scarlett Johansson. That's another show.
Oh man, there was.
Here's a trivia question. What song does she sing in a Disney film?
She sings the song from the Jungle Book, the snake song.
Very good. Trust in me.
Yeah.
Very good,
I'm
Michelle.
a big Scarlett Johansson. Yeah.
There was a line. Jason Sudeikis was on Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
As the devil. I don't know if you saw that bit.
I did. Yes.
And
he
goes, "Oh, you had a baby with Scarlett Johansson. I don't know who screwed her over more, you or Disney."
Yeah.
It was a great line.
It was.
I loved it.
So, Chris and Michelle will be running in the Walt Disney Marathon in January. And we all know that when you go through the Magic Kingdom and you come out, you go through Cone Alley and eventually to the Grand Floridian. This may be the last year that happens because there's some inkling, there's some flags that are coming up that there may be something going on between the Magic Kingdom and the Grand Floridian. That the place that the road that you run is Floridian Way, and there's a possibility that road is going to be shifted, and there are rumors that could mean either an expansion of the Magic Kingdom or possibly a new Magic Kingdom resort that will be built between the Grand Floridian and the Magic Kingdom. So keep your eyes on Floridian Way over the next 3 to 5 years. It may be just, something going on, but I do know that there were permits filed to change that road dramatically. So we'll see what happens with
Not
that.
just to expand, you mean they're changing the location of it? Like it's moving outwards or inwards?
It's moving, I believe it's moving outwards. And it could be possibly that they are planning on building a golf themed resort, but we'll see. But
Michelle doesn't
keep
like
your
that
eyes
idea.
on it. So
I live on a golf resort. I don't need
it may be nothing, but 2, 3, 4 years from now, everybody who's listening to the podcast can say, that Mickey Mouse and More podcast, they said something that would happen. So keep your eyes on that.
That'll be something to look for in the next race. So,
yeah.
But for us,
And
that's going to
dancing reindeers.
and tin soldiers. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. This episode of Mickey Mouse and More. If you want to reach out to us and let us know if you've heard anything, or if you're going to the Wine and Dine, give us a message on Twitter at Mickey Mouse Pod. So for Dr. Michelle Scribner McLean, Mike Scopa, I'm Chris Eliopoulos. We'll see you on the road in the parks.
Happy Halloween.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode of the Mickey Miles and More podcast. For all of us here at the Mickey Miles and More podcast, this is Rick Gregg saying thanks for listening and all your support. And until next time, we'll see you on the road.